Hi.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? Are you having a nice Saturday? Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the 6th episode of Weekend Gaming. I'm your host, Erika Byakko, and this is a talk show where I have on different guests every week, and we talk about games and everything gaming. My guest today is the lovely dream goddess VTuber Kokone Yurikago from VNU. Yeah.
Hi everyone. Konban Kokone. I'm Erika Kokone from VNU's First Wave Symphoria. Thank you for having me, Erika.
Yeah, it's lovely having you here. Yeah. I can't wait to get into the chatting and chatting about everything gaming. Though we've already been chatting a little bit before we started, but not about games though. We've been saving that for chatting.
Yeah. We were talking about Gundams actually.
Yeah, we're actually talking about Gundams.
I've been trying to recruit her to our Gundam club that we have going on at VNU. So
she's been sending me pictures of pretty Gunpla pictures in the Discord chat. I'm like, oh god, it looks so cool.
pretty plastics for her to get into.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm getting like more and more tempted to that. But look, we're not going to talk about Gundam today because this is the gaming talk show. This is weekend gaming. So should we just like dive into it? I think.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Yeah. So I always like to start like way at the beginning when we chat about games. And what better place to start than asking what was the first video game you ever played? And this one can be the first one you remember playing, and you can also answer more than one if you want to.
So the first game that I ever played was actually like my parents would go and rent videos. So then there was a little video game corner shop that was like old video games. And so in there, they had a demo of a racing game called Jet Moto 2. And that's where we started being like, oh, this is so cool. Our inputs directly affect like what's happening on the TV. And we got really into that. So then that was our first console game. But then like I realized that we also played a few games before, but it was PC games.
Yeah, PC games.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. But like Jet Moto 2 was my first console game. And then on the PC, my father, who's a tech junkie, he had like this old, like, you know those boxy Macintosh?
Yeah.
And then he would have Bejeweled, and a game called Power P.
I don't think I've heard about the second one. Bejeweled, I think like most people have probably heard about Bejeweled, the line up similar game, gems game.
Yeah, it's a lineup of three gem game that we used to play, and I had the high score on there out of my family. But then like Power B was like this game that was it was interesting. You were basically like a toy soldier looking guy, and you had to save the bunny in every single map. But it was like a basically top-down, almost kind of like a top-down shooter, but it was isometric view, and the levels were actually too hard for us little kids.
You know, that's kind of cool.
It was actually really fun. Like you get to like get different power-ups each map, and then that would affect how your gun would shoot. And basically every single time I just remember dying at the dinosaur level. And that was also where I got traumatized about clowns, because there was also like a circus level, and the clowns were actually like god awful.
I feel like also like especially like some older games, like the way they interpret things like clowns, which has like a lot of colors, a lot of shapes, can be like really terrifying, even though it wasn't meant to be horror necessarily.
I know, but then like I think like there was like sound too, and the clowns had a scary, like a creepy laugh, and whenever Power Pete dies, he screams really loudly, and his head pops off.
You know what a game to start off with.
Right? I was just like, man, that was one of my first introductions to a computer game. But then like for the console game with Jet Moto, that's where I realized how I like to be competitive with
Ah,
games
yeah. Was that like
because
actually? Yeah, I hadn't heard about this before. You mentioned it, for the
it's like
stream. Mm.
yeah, it's like a water jet racing game, and then with that we would have like high scores too of like how fast you can
Ah, yeah.
clear map. I don't. Was there 2 players? I don't remember if there was 2 players, but I would have the high like I would always try to get the highest score, just like in Bejeweled. But then I realized I got my competitive streak from my father.
Oh. Would he
Because
also
one
try
day,
to get the high scores in that?
one day, like it was summer vacation. One day I came home. I came downstairs into like the room where we have like the TV set up, and I just see my father at like 8 a.m. still playing the game. Like, I was like, "Did you go to sleep?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to beat your score." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yes, I guess if I ask you the question if your parents were gamers, at least your father definitely were a gamer when you grew up.
Yeah, my father was definitely the gamer. My mother was more of like the manga nerd, but she wasn't much of a gamer herself. Yeah, so
Yeah, but
my father was the one who had like the old school Atari system.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, that's really nice. Like, did you get like you got to like try older games when you were growing up? Because I see like people I've had on the show here, like often the ones that started with gaming really early are the ones that like have like gamer parents that drew them into it, and people like have like parents that didn't game often like started with gaming a little bit later.
Yeah, like for us, I think like my father liked like the PC, like computer, like Macintosh or iOS games, and then he got dragged back into console because of us, because we were like, this looks cool. And he's like, oh shit, that's my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, he was very much comfortable letting us like buying us like a console game, like you know, it'll keep us busy and we won't ask for like other stuff.
You know, I feel like when you were a kid, just like the even like the most like not tedious, but like the most repetitive games can be like so entertaining, and for hours and hours and hours you didn't get tired of it.
Yeah, like Jet Moto was just you just drive around a whole track race, and there was like barely any, right? So then like we got so hooked onto it, and we grew up really not we were not an affluent family to say the least. So whatever like thing that could reduce the amount of toys you wanted, because we were like a few of us, we were siblings. He was just like, okay, we're gonna just splurge on this one thing, and you can't ask for anything else for the next like 2 years.
This is what you get, and this is what you're going to have to play with. Yeah, definitely understand that.
Yeah.
And speaking of like childhood games, what was your favorite childhood game or game series?
Ooh, okay, so my favorite childhood game is probably like Legend of Dragoon, which is
Legend of Dragoon.
pretty yeah, it's not the most well-known RPG game, I think, but that was around the same time that Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were out, and the Final Fantasy series was my favorite series, but the Legend of Dragoon was like my favorite RPG game at that time, because it was the game system was so your chat knows all the attack moves, but the system was really interesting, because you know how like in normal RPGs you just like press attack and then it does an attack, and then that's about it, and then you could do magics and stuff, but with Legend of Dragoon, every attack you could customize it a little bit. So
that's really inventive and nice.
You first start off with one, and then you have to time your attack properly so that you hit a perfect. So it's kind of like a rhythm game a little bit, or like what was those called? Like the action reaction
quick time
button input. Yeah, quick time events.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a quick time event, but there's like a rhythm to it for every single combo. And the more you do perfect on it, then you could unlock the next one, and then it gets progressively more and more complicated. So I think one of them had like a 9-button combo every single time you had to attack. Yeah.
You know, that's pretty advanced actually.
But like the more you succeed, the higher the damage, right? So I was determined to get the perfect combo every single time. And
Yeah.
I thought I unlocked all of the combinations and
Ooh.
mastered all of the combinations because you could like level them too, so it does more damage and stuff. So that was just one part of the game battle aspect, and then there's another part which is you could become a dragoon. So you could be a
Oh,
normal, and then you could unleash a dragoon mode. Yeah,
oh, that sounds so cool, honestly.
super fun. The
Mm.
story, it does not hold up to current,
Yeah.
like it is incredibly sexist.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of games that unfortunately, like, story-wise, graphics-wise, a lot of things didn't age well. But like for the time when like you were playing it, especially if you're sometimes if you play a game when you're really young, you don't necessarily pay attention to like everything that's going on in the story. You're just having fun with the game and the colors and the flashing cool attacks and stuff.
Yeah, and like you could like understand the basic like vague overall narrative, but like when they say like something like offhanded, you're not gonna catch that as a
Yeah,
child, right?
yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, but looking back and like I was like watching like a playthrough of it later on, and I was just like, oof, oh,
Yeah.
this is that. Oh damn.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is a children's game, or like kids played this.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, good thing I didn't like I basically skimmed through some of the conversation.
Yeah, but I love that the combat in there sounds like really cool. And I don't remember like playing any games that had that type of combat like back in the days. I kind of loud and I wish that I had played that game.
Yeah,
back.
that's why I kind of wish they'll remake it one day and like revamp the story.
Oh yeah, like a revamp, like more
Yeah, or like a spiritual successor, you know?
yeah, spiritual successor. That would have been really nice.
Yeah.
And speaking of childhood games, so this could also be recent games if you want to. Did you have a go-to game for sibling, family, or friend rivalry?
Oh yeah. So it was mostly family rivalry, just because like I didn't have much friends. But so one of them was Jitmoto, which is
Yeah, of course.
for the most part, it was actually fighting games like Tekken, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive. So like we had let's see, we started off with like Tekken 2, and then we kept buying it all the way until like Tekken 5. And for Street Fighter, I was actually shit at it, to be honest. Like I was so bad at Street Fighter, and I'm still bad to this day. But so my younger sibling would always kick my ass in Street Fighter, but she was like almost like prodigy level with like in terms of like Street Fighter, and like no one could beat her. So
Yeah, sometimes you
so
just have like that one friend or that one family member who's like so good at something.
I know. I think she was like pairing before like we even knew what the fuck pairing was about, and I was like, why can't my attacks hit you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dead or Alive, I was actually the best one at.
Oh, nice to you.
Yeah, and then like one of my older siblings was the best at Tekken. So we all had our our strongest fighting game.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, but none of us could decide on which ultimate fighting game to like choose the winner.
Yeah, like personally, I really like. I also like would say like Tekken for me is probably like my childhood like rivalry game for like young childhood, because like we played Tekken 3 really early, but I wasn't the button masher club there to be completely honest. But it's a very nostalgic game, and like what I love about like having fighting games as like nostalgic games is that like those fighting game series are still alive today, and like new games are still being made. So like you just had like Street Fighter 6, and then we're getting Tekken 8 later, which is like lovely. Yeah.
Oh my god, that teaser we're just like Kazuya just like wait, was it Kazuya? No, Jin dropping off Kazuya's body, or was it Heihachi's
Yeah. I don't remember who was either, but yeah.
I was like, they all look alike, but it's either Kazuya or Jin who dropped off their father's body down the cliff, and I was just like, oh, another one.
Yeah, and then all the what I love seeing like right now for Tekken is like we have all the character trailers that have been dropping lately, and like seeing the difference from like when you played Tekken the very first time, like the characters that are still in the series, you see like every new interpretation of the characters. And I have to say like Tekken 8, some of the character trailers I've seen are like some of I would say definitely like the coolest. A lot of the characters I've looked so far in this series.
Oh my god, I have to catch up. I haven't seen any of the character trailers yet.
Oh,
Except Brian Fury. I saw Brian Fury.
Oh, do you have like any favorite characters from that series or characters that you like playing?
So my favorite series as a my favorite not series character as a kid was Jun and Michelle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jun.
Wait, Julie. Julie? Wait, Michelle was the mother, right? And Julie was the daughter.
Oh, Julie. Julie. Yeah, wasn't she like a little bit of wrestler type? No,
No, she's like the indigenous.
I know. I know who you're talking about now.
Is she a wrestler now? Oh.
I don't think she has been announced yet for Tekken 8, but I would be surprised if she isn't in there.
Yeah, I think they have to. She's been in there since like the first. Well, Michelle has been in there since like the very first Tekken, I believe.
Yeah.
So I loved her. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to like seeing like all the remaining character trailers drop and stuff, like or like at least giving us a release date, because we don't have a release date for Tekken 8 yet.
Yeah.
Probably.
Actually, you know, like speaking of Jun as my other favorite character, I was so happy. Like Jun got like she was removed, right?
Yeah,
and I was so happy when like Jin was succeeding his mother's fighting style, because I like Jun's fighting style a lot.
Yeah.
But then he turned into karate, and I was just like, wait, what? No, give me back my Jun's fighting style. But then God bless Asuka. Coming in clutch, bringing that back.
Yeah, God. Well, fighting games are honestly so nostalgic.
Yeah.
But talking about like other favorite games, what's your favorite story in a game, or a game whose story you really enjoyed if you don't have a favorite?
Okay, so my favorite would probably have to be Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of story. And the thing is, with Chrono Trigger, I unfortunately did not get to enjoy it as a child, because it was okay. We had the game, actually. We bought it like secondhand. It was super cheap, but it was like the art style, like it was very besides the very first, like besides the modern day, everything was a little less more toned down artistically, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because it's like, you know, Doomsday, etc.
Yeah.
And the story is like pretty heavy, but so I didn't really want to play that game when I was a child.
Yeah, very understandable.
Yeah. But then I revisited it as I was older, and I'm super glad that I did, because like the story was just it makes me tear up every single time, especially with like Robo. I was like, oh my goodness, the story here is actually genius. And if there's anyone who had played it like when they were too young to understand everything, I would suggest actually revisiting it, because like Frog and Robo are like the best characters.
Chat knows.
Their storylines are so deep. I'm like,
It's wonderful when a game can like go that deep. It's like has like a really proper moving story.
So I actually want to play it again, just so that I could get all of the nitty-gritty details that I've missed, because like, you know, with a playthrough I'll still probably miss quite a few stuff too, because I'm not the one immersed into it and playing it myself. So yeah.
Yeah, that's like lovely when you have like your favorite games that you can revisit. I hope it's I actually haven't played the Chrono games myself, but is it available on like recent like platforms or PC? I know a lot of older games are also like ported to PC.
I know Chrono Trigger got ported over to Switch. Let me check something real quick.
Or chat can probably tell us actually if we give them a little time.
Oh, Chrono Trigger! Yes, it's on Steam. It's on Steam.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross also got the Radical Dreamer edition on Steam too recently.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, so I love when they do that with games, like they port over older games to the newer platforms, and especially if they port it to PC, then it's like very available for everyone that want to replay it.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Yeah. That's lovely. And when it comes to, you know, gaming past, do you have a significant gaming memory? For example, something game related from your childhood that you still remember years later?
So this one I It's hard because like I feel like my happiest memories as a child was just all related to gaming.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Like gaming and art is basically what all my childhood was.
Yeah.
Besides, because everything else was studying, 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 studying,
Ah.
studying. Like I had to do a lot of studying
Mm.
as a child. So the gaming was my escape for me. So favorite story, favorite memory in the game. It was probably the first time I ever played like a multiplayer online game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's now that I think it's the first one. I believe is called B&B Crazy Arcade, and I it's I don't think like anyone could find it anymore because it's just it's first of all it was a Korean game. Like it
Yeah.
never got localized over to English, and the reason why I played it was because my other friend who was into games was like, "Oh, let's play this game together," and so so back in the day for Korean games, you had to have a Korean social security number to beat
Oh, wow. Talk about like locking
Yeah.
it behind a secure wall.
Yeah. You had to have a Korean SSN to like make an account for any Korean like online games at that around that era, and so he stole his sister's social security number.
Oh, wow.
For me. And I was like, "Is that okay?" He's like, "Yeah. She's not a gamer. It's fine as well."
She's never going to know. To this day, she's clueless.
So I stole his sister's identity for that game, and I was just like, hopefully I don't go to jail for this, but
yeah, it all worked out in the end.
yeah, it all worked out in the end. But it was basically like a multiplayer online like Bomberman game.
Ah, yeah, the Bomberman games. Those type of games are so much fun to play with other people.
Yeah, so I think that's where like my addiction to like online multiplayer games rooted from. Yeah, and then it'll go downhill from there.
Yeah, you know, that's amazing. I love that, like, you know, some casual identity brought in there.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's all fine. You know, she probably was okay with it, maybe.
I don't think she ever found out. I don't think she was.
Yeah, she doesn't need to know.
Very normie, yeah. So she was not into video games at all.
Yeah. And then when it comes to gaming memories, do you have a tragic gaming memory from your past? It can also be something silly or something sad if you do have a sad memory you wanna.
Okay, so with games, I'm a little bit of a completionist. At least back then when I had time.
Yeah.
So I was playing 7, 8, and 7 and 8, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 at the same time.
Yeah.
But I was getting further in 8. Because for me it was easier to do all the completionist stuff in 8, and I basically was super close to finishing the game 100%, like so close. I just had like one like there was this tower that I had to go through where there's absolutely 0 save points, so I had to save at the top, go all the way to the bottom, clear it, and then go I think go all the way back to the top. I forgot what it's called, and I forgot how exactly it was supposed to be because the thing is, I never got through it. I had every single magic, even ultimate magic, drawn all the way to the max 99 on every single character, which takes. If anyone's ever tried it on FF8, they'll know how shit long of a time that takes. But I've done that, and so I had every single magic drawn to max stock. I had every single Guardian Force, just like max compatibility, etc.
Yeah.
Like all I needed to do was that tower and go fight the boss. That was it. And then one day I woke up to my sister going like, hey Kokone. I was like, and then she's like, I saved over your FF8 files. Sorry, bye.
No!
And I was like,
oh god, the heartbreak.
my Fantasy 8 file.
Oh no. And you know your sister, she knew what she did if she woke you up to tell you that.
She's like, sorry, bye. And then I was like, what the fuck? So then I never played Final Fantasy 8 ever again.
That's definitely traumatic enough a reason to like never even look at the game again.
I couldn't bring myself to play it ever again. I was like, no, I'm not touching it ever again.
Yeah, I think I would feel the same. And
also,
also not because I have a save-related disaster in my own past. That was my fault.
Oh, I heard about it where you accidentally
pull out the memory card. I don't know if any of my siblings had save files on that PlayStation that I ruined. I kind of don't want to know.
Okay, but at least yours was like, you know, it wasn't well, it wasn't on purpose for my sister either, but like at least yours was just like, oh, you pulled it out and like that somehow corrupted the whole memory card.
I don't think anyone in my household like knew that was a thing even, actually.
Yeah, like I don't think that's something that you can really fault me for. Because it's like, oh, how are you supposed to know that's gonna happen? But like the thing is with my older sibling, she did that with one of my younger siblings too.
Oh.
Okay, my younger sister was going through Final Fantasy Tactics and she got she unlocked the mimic job, like that you have to basically level up all the jobs. Like you could every character can level up through different jobs, and basically you have to level up to a certain point for every single job just to unlock the mimic
yeah, that's brutal
job. Yeah, and so she did that and she was like she was getting super far in Final Fantasy Tactics, but my older sibling saved over that file too.
Yeah, oh god, this is a pattern here. Hopefully.
Yeah, the tactics grind is so tough. Like, I feel like it was even harder than the Final Fantasy 8 grind. They were about the same like amount of time we invested, but like both those files, as soon as we got super close to finishing it, we got saved over by the same older sibling.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! You know, that's absolutely brutal. That's a kind of like a sad, tragic story for sure.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god! I think like she grinded like weeks just solely for the mimic job class. So
yeah. Reaching sibling disownment at this point.
Yeah, honestly, we were thinking about it. We were like talking about it. We're like, what if we disown our sister?
Yeah, you probably didn't end up doing that, but that's definitely would be grounds for taking it up for discussion.
We're fine now. We're completely fine now.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, it's nice that like all of us enjoy games, so we talk about games now too. But
yeah, that's absolutely lovely. Having siblings that you can game together with, and like still that you can talk with games with this day. Like, are all of them, or at least some of them, like still gamers to this day?
Yeah, everyone is still a gamer. So we all talk about games, and at least now she can't touch my memory cards.
Yeah, you can keep it protected. And luckily nowadays, like there's often like very easily like like on game systems, like if you say on the Nintendo Switch and on like PlayStation, I actually don't know how it's on the newest Xbox because I don't have it, but on like game consoles nowadays you have like different profiles, so I guess it would be like way harder to save over now compared to like how it was back in the day.
Yeah, so much better, such quality of life.
Yeah,
you know what? Sure. It was probably all the people that grew up with memory cards that got their save slots saved over by their siblings that were like, okay, we gotta change this. We can't let any more children get traumatized.
They got into game development themselves. It's like, yes, this is the quality of life change that we need.
This is important. My save file.
Actually wouldn't surprise me if like at least for some of the stuff that has been like done in game development, people are experiencing stuff in their child and be like, yes, we need to improve on this.
Yeah, it's like can't let any other child go through that pain.
Yeah. But when it like does come to gaming, like nowadays, do you prefer to do like a slow and steady progress throughout the game or rushing through the main story?
So I'm very much a slow and steady type of person. Like in every single thing I do, it's a slow and steady progress. So it just sucks because I feel like I don't have as much time anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as you can tell by like my completionist streak in the past, like I do like to go through everything and try to discover every single thing imaginable in a game.
Yeah.
So it just makes it really hard to complete a game.
And especially nowadays, some of the games are getting like really big. If we see like the recent Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, for example, that game is like
Oh my
absolutely
God.
huge.
Yeah, like that's actually why I haven't even touched Breath of the Wild yet.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, okay, I need a whole ass summer vacation for this, which I don't have anymore because unfortunately I'm 10,000 years old and I don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I need a whole ass summer vacation where I don't work, I don't stream, I just play this the whole time.
Yeah, probably actually like for both of those Zeldas, you would probably need that amount of time if you want to go like get everything. You even have like they even like throw in like more and more collectibles, which is like fun. It's like fun to collect stuff. But then you have like I think like I don't know if the complete number for it in Tears of the Kingdom, but I think at least in Breath of the Wild they had like the little Koroks. You could find like the little like nature little plant guys, and there's 1,000 of those hidden around the map in Breath of the Wild, and like going around and collecting those.
Wait, okay, so like in Legend of Dragoon, there's a collectible called Stardust. I believe there's like, oh wait, no, never mind. It wasn't as much. Okay, never mind. But like, there's like 50 throughout like 4 different discs. Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? If it comes down to like collectibles that are like 1,000, I could probably do it. Like 50 throughout 4 discs, even though it's nothing like 1,000, it's a lot to like keep in them in the back of your mind. But I collected all of them without missing a single one. So yeah, I was just like, I could probably do that, but I just need the time.
Yeah, I definitely I feel this so much, Kokone, because like I'm absolutely the same. I'm the person who like if you know and they have like the overworld map in games, and often there'll be like question marks like for things you haven't found yet.
Oh God.
Are you the person who would like hunt down every single question mark? Because
of course
I will.
They're question marks for a reason, right?
Yeah, there has to be something cool. But then you have those games that because they're so like open world and they have like a lot of areas, sometimes like the question marks can just be like there's a random chest there that has like random basic loot in it, and oh God, that hurts so much with modern games. Like the one game that like really hurt me with that was Witcher 3. Not the earlier areas. Like there was actually like a lot of cool stuff in the question marks. But then you get to a later game area, which likes like islands and ocean. And the island question marks, they were fine. They were cool stuff. But then there was like tons of question marks in the ocean.
Can you swim in that game?
You could row a boat. You could swim really slowly, or you could row a boat a little bit faster. And there was like so many question marks in the ocean. I was like, one of these might be like epic legendary loot. So I spent like literally like an entire day, like 6 hours or something, rowing from question mark to question mark, fighting random ocean monsters for basic loot in chests.
Oh God, they didn't even give you like the booty, like the pirate booty.
It was like that was also like a later game area. So by that time you already had like a lot of cool stuff.
Oh God.
So the loot you got there, like sometimes you got like good swords or good armor, but like it was like lackluster compared to where you were in the game. So like I think actually I reached a point where I was like 80% done with the question marks, and then it was like the 20% left. I was like, I can't do this anymore, I'm dying.
Oh my God. You spent 6 hours and you're still not like 100% through it.
Yeah, it took so long. So
oh my. Yeah, that's sad, because it's like it was for all that effort. You would think the devs would like provide you at least something that would be like okay, it was so worth it, but no.
Yeah, so that's the pain. Like I feel like as completionist gamers are like definitely suffering more in the modern games, where you like, as you say, you have to like take like 2 weeks in the summer and just like dedicate 24/7 to that one game if you want to complete it.
Yeah, I think that's probably what that like. I have a huge blank in my like video game console game history, because like I couldn't take that time, and then like games were starting to become like grindy for the sake of being grindy. And I was just like, okay, I can't do it because I would grind for it, but I just don't have the time for it. And
Yeah.
the first game that brought me back to going into full completionist RPG style, it was Elden Ring. Like that's how long
Elden
it
Ring,
took.
yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't finished it, by the way. I need to do that. But that was where I was like, okay, this game I could get behind. Everything feels satisfying to uncover.
Yeah, I've also played Elden Ring, and I gotta say, like, you're really correct on that. Like, they did such a good job. Like, I feel like even some stuff, like areas that didn't like maybe have fantastic loot, like every area felt unique. Every area had like different enemies, and even if you're spending a lot of time exploring and going to like like off the part optional areas, still finding cool stuff. So yeah, Elden Ring for sure is definitely a cool game for completion.
Yeah, like you don't even need to like some places don't even have like cool loot, but they'll have important lore. Like, just like crumbs, like literal crumbs of like important lore, like crumbs, and you're like, oh, you piece this crumb with this other crumb.
And then like a cool random mini boss fight or something suddenly stumbling on.
I love it so much. That's why I want to like complete it eventually.
Yeah, and also if we get like a DLC, like they haven't announced the DLC, but they haven't announced the date. So maybe if we get a date announcement for that, that would be like motivation to go back.
Oh, true. I'll have a deadline.
I've heard rumors that the DLC is going to be big though. So.
Oh really? Yeah. True. I gotta finish.
Yeah. How far are you in? Just out of like curiosity.
So when I first played through it, I did it off stream, and I got up to I finished the capital, and I was going through the sewage system. But then I decided to start all over from scratch for stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for the stream one, I'm passing by a few things. I'm not doing it as fully completionist as I did the first time around. So now I think I just finished Raya Lucaria, and I'm going to unlock the the lift. So I'm pretty much back up to speed after going through the capital, like figuring out the lift. Like,
some really cool areas left. And have you like decided that you want to go for a specific ending in that game, or just you like going for whatever?
I do want to go for the waifu ending.
The moon waifu.
Yeah, the moon waifu.
Yeah, that's the ending I went for. I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but it's definitely a very satisfying ending, I thought, when I played.
I'm so excited. Although the thing with going through that is that I have to go through the pain of losing Best Boy again.
Oh yeah, the fight.
Yeah, that pained me.
We gotta do it for the maiden, for the girl.
But like he's like best boy. He's my best buddy.
Yeah.
So sad.
I think he is definitely one of my favorite characters in the game. Very cool. Very like. It feels weird, but I would say like kind of like a wholesome character almost.
Yeah, it's like out of Elden Ring, like the last thing you would expect is like a wholesome big boy, and that's what he was. Like, he's so cute.
Yeah, just like so nice. Yeah, when it comes to gaming, do you prefer like role playing in games and making choices as a character you have created or as an in-game character, or do you usually just like make choices based on what you would do yourself?
I make choices based on what I want in the game.
Yeah.
Like if I think I could get more rewards from a certain choice, I would choose said choice. So I'm not really good at like being the role play.
Yeah, so you're yourself basically.
Yeah, I'm basically myself, but like I would do like it's like knowing that I'm controlling a puppet, and then the puppet so then I could make the puppet do things that I would never do, but then if it's like, oh, but this seems more interesting, then I'll do it. Yeah, I'm making meta choices.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I feel that. Sometimes you just want to like make sure you're like getting all the secret areas, you're getting all the secret loot. You don't want to like accidentally lock yourself out of it. And if sometimes you have to like, play along with the NPCs and stuff,
Yeah.
This is
Oh
what you
yeah,
have to
sure.
do.
You're so totally cool, NPC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you give me a little reward for praising you?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And in general, single
Mhm.
player or multiplayer games, do you have a preference?
These days, I like multiplayer games. Yeah,
Mm.
like before, I used to be just purely single player,
Mm.
but I think I think with like the whole, isolation and
Mm.
not being able to interact with people as much because I'm just working all day and working all
Yeah.
the time, I got a little lonely.
That's definitely
Mm,
understandable.
yeah, so I like
Mm.
playing multiplayer games, but only with people that I already know. I can't I
Oh.
can't play multiplaire with strangers.
Yeah, like not
I get
random people online.
no, I can't. I get frozen. I'm like,
Mm.
someone talk to me. Shit, what do I do? How do I respond? How do I talk to people?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
This is lovely. I feel like nowadays there are also like multiplayer games for every genre. Like it's not just like I feel like back in the day it might be just like more fighting games and racing games and stuff like that you played as multiplayer. But nowadays like you have everything from FPS to Minecraft to card
Yeah.
games to just like cute co-op games. So you can like really play all game genres basically as
Yeah,
multiplayer.
and I love that. I'm like, I want if I'm gonna buy a game, unless it's for streaming and it's like something
Mm.
I really, really want to play, I want to make sure there's at least some option for like a friend of mine to join in or like
Mm.
play with. And I
Yeah.
love that it's become like such a huge part. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a way to like connect with people and like keep up with friendships. Like
Yeah.
like spend your time wisely, I guess, and still have like fun and game together. Mm.
Yeah, and it's not like those like mobile games where like they kind of
Mm.
force you to have friends. It's like
Yeah.
okay, it's not that. I got so triggered every single time. They're like, you need to interact with like
Ah.
this many number of friends in order to like get your dailies going. And
Mm.
I'm like, why do I have to interact when I don't want to? Like, let me have a choice.
Should be optional. Should be completely optional.
Yeah. I was just like, what if I have no friends that play this game? Like,
Mm. Yeah, definitely hard when they force you to interact with people. You want to have
yeah.
the option. Yeah.
Oh my god. Like MMOs in the earlier days too kind of forced you and I got so
Mm.
triggered.
Yeah, it definitely for sure can be something like that scares people away from certain like multiplayer
Right, they're like,
genres.
"Okay, make a party with another person." I'm like, "With
Mm.
who? Can I have an NPC that I could do that with so that I could go through it without friends?" Like,
Mm. Yeah.
mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
Definitely need to be NPCs for that.
Mhm.
And when you do play games, do you prefer controller or keyboard and mouse?
For this one, it really, really, really depends on the game.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like for games that don't involve like reaction time so much, or you
Mm.
need a good controls, like RTS is one thing, MOBAs are another thing, like
Mhm.
survival crafting too. Usually, I prefer mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
But like for RPGs, for other things that might take like longer time to play,
Yeah.
then I prefer controller because it's more ergonomic.
Mm. Yeah. That
Mm-mm-mm.
sounds really nice, and it's really true. Like some of the game controllers nowadays are very comfortable and very like good to
Mm.
use if you're going to be gaming for a long time. And then you have those games where sometimes if there's a lot of like intense combat and you're playing with a controller, I
Oh,
have experienced like the cases where like your hands get tired and your fingers get tired for sort of like repetitive movements.
yeah. Like so,
Mm.
like also like every single game they make and they set like map out the buttons and controls. Like you could
Mm.
tell which one they designed off of first. You could
Yeah.
always tell which one they made as their main mode of like testing. So
Mm.
then I'll usually choose that one because it's usually more
Yeah.
intuitive and comfortable.
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
then yeah, the other one is like a second thought. Be like, okay, we do need both support, so let's map everything to this now.
Yeah, there's definitely like the controller option that feels more natural, and the one that like feels like, okay, this is an option, but yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
anticipate you using it.
Yeah, so like most MMORPGs, definitely mouse and keyboard as a
Mm.
baseline, but like a lot of like even games that are released on the PC at the same time as console. Most of them do based off console, like Nier
Yeah.
Automata is super smooth with controller, which is what I used to play it. And then my friend who was playing it with keyboard and mouse was like, I can't dodge and like a good timing. And I was just, it's like at a really awkward position for me. And I was like, oh really? I didn't notice that at all when I was playing with the controller. So
yeah, for sure, you get those kind of situations.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gaming platform, do you have a preference? And now we're talking about like PC, console, and also mobile.
So for me, I personally prefer PC nowadays because I'm just sitting in front of my desk all day.
Yeah.
So I prefer PC where I could just like have everything on the side, or work on the side, play a little game for like a 5-minute break, go back to working and stuff like that. But when I was like when I had to move around a lot more, I did prefer mobile consoles like PS3, 3DS. Yeah, and when I was a child, I liked the consoles.
Yeah, the TV console, because like then usually like you lived in one place, you could just like use the TV, I guess, when you weren't studying, and it's like nice also for like playing together with people, because then you have like the big screen that you're playing on, for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but that's definitely understandable. It's very convenient like gaming on the PC, because you also have like a lot of like games in one place, and there's like so many games you can get on PC, so it's definitely like very convenient and nice.
Yeah, and I got like stuck in that modern day mindset where I have to constantly be available for anyone at all given moments, because I work like 2 different jobs. It's like during work I need to keep sure my emails are like available, my Slack is available, and then afterwards I need to make sure I'm available for any manager pings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I get anxiety when I'm away from my PC for too long.
Yeah, understandable. God, we're so tied to our PCs nowadays. And you know, when you're away from your PC, then you have your phone, where you're also reachable from your PC apps.
It's so bad. Like, you know how on the phone Discord you can't log into multiple different users for the mobile version? I just have a browser version of Discord opened up so that I could have both accounts up at any given moment.
You know, pretty smart.
Oh my god, I'm just like, I just need to be available and like make sure I check all my messages every single day.
Yeah, definitely feel that. Oh, let me see. And what do you think about game achievements? Do you usually go for them? Like, and like some if you're like going for a completionist, then you might like at least get them if they exist.
Yeah, I think for me, like the idea of achievements didn't really stick for me. And so I would get them as a byproduct of completing the game as much as I want. But then like when I look at the achievement list, some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like some of them are like sadistic even. So
yeah.
I'm not for that type of sadism too. So I'm just like, you know what, you could have your satisfaction of me not 100% clearing, because that's I'm not gonna talk to a single NPC 10,000 times just because to get this one single achievement.
I feel like often you can like divide them into 3 categories. You have like the category of achievements you get like naturally throughout playing the games, like for example beating a boss, like then you get an achievement, but that was like a mandatory boss, so you're going to beat them anyway, and beating the story and stuff like that. And then you have like those achievements you were talking about, those like kind of like statistics that they have like a really like high requirements. You have to like talk to people a lot of times, beat certain bosses in like a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and this is coming from me. I talked to one NPC over 100 times just to trigger one line of different text in Final Fantasy 9. And like that's coming from me, who's done
that's
that.
some dedication.
So like if even I'm saying like, okay, no, that's ridiculous, I'm like, I feel for the people who actually do them.
And then you have like the random, what I like to call like the random achievements, which is like things you would probably never think of doing throughout the game. It's like I remember back in the day, I think the PlayStation had like some achievement system for like, for example, Ratchet and Clank, and I looked at them. I think it might have been Ratchet and Clank 3, on the PlayStation 2, where actually like one of the few times where I looked at the achievement list, and it would be like, in this level, shoot a camera that's like floating around the stage. Like maybe you do that, but like how it's like some cameras, those like part of the stage kind of. And there's like a lot of random stuff like that, and that's like also the achievements are the reason I ruined the PlayStation, because one of them was like, at 3 a.m. go to this location.
No.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's just like some of them are like way more trouble than it's worth, and you don't even like often get rewards for them. Often it's like,
yeah, just
you did it, yes.
Yeah, congrats, pat on the back. Like in chat, I see like the example of 1,000 jumps in order to get the Alexander card in FF9. I did that, by the way. You get something, right? You get the Alexander card.
Yeah, if you get something cool.
Card set. Yeah, in game. But like, I don't want like a little achievement in my Steam that says like, "Yay, congrats, you did it. Here's a sticker." Like, I want something in game it's like physical.
Yeah, for real. And then like, I feel like sometimes if you have like a game you're really addicted to, and you want like, this is the one time I think where achievements are kind of fun. If you do have like a big gaming addiction you're addicted to, and you want an excuse to play it more, then going for the achievements can kind of be like entertaining.
Yeah. That's true. If like the achievements is your excuse to be like, I'll just go do this one achievement, and then like go, just stay a little bit more. That's true.
Just one more round in whatever you're playing.
Just one more playthrough and slay the spire. Just give me that.
Yeah. And building off of game achievements, is there a gaming moment that you're particularly proud of?
So this one, I'm like, I feel like for me, everything that I do is what I expected from me. So then it's really hard to think of a gaming moment that I'm particularly proud of. I think in that sense, maybe it's the fact that I'm generally, because I go through extents to like master said thing, like, you know, doing the 1,000 jumps to get the Alexander card. Usually my siblings would come to me in order to do it for them. Yeah, so like in Final Fantasy like 10, for example, like there was like the chocobo racing that you have to do in order to unlock the, you know, Titus's sword. What's the Titus's sword? And it's pretty tight. The timing is pretty tight, and like my sisters all couldn't do it. So then I would be the one to do it all for them. Or like in Fantasy 8, you could get a summon that that's very powerful, incredibly early on. If you just fight, you get an item, and if you use the item, you get like dragged into a boss fight, and you have to defeat it. So you could do it as low as like level 8, I think, or something like that. It's like sub 10 levels, and so I did that right as I got the item. Usually way too under level to beat it, but I was able to figure out like a strat to beat.
Nice of you.
Yeah. So then like I'll do that, and then like it's like a really slow, painful ass strat, but it's possible. So then I did that for my game, and then my older sibling, who eventually, you know, bombed my save file that I did for this one. I was like, "Oh, Kokone, could you do that for me too?" I was just like, "Why?" She's like, "Because I'm your older sister, do it for me." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Kokone to the rescue, involuntarily, but you know, to the rescue.
So then I did it for her too, and yeah, at least she brought that save file, her own save file, to completion, and I got to see the ending through her. But I couldn't have the satisfaction of going through my own ending.
Yeah, but it's really cool that like your siblings would come to you for help with difficult stuff.
Yeah.
And what is the most satisfying game you completed? If you can remember a game where you went like, yes, this is like a real achievement, I'm really proud, or you're really happy that you did it.
I think like I think in terms of satisfying, I think like Legend of Dragoon was the one where I like knew 100%ed everything, and like there was absolutely nothing more else I could discover from that game, and I could just like put it away and be happy. And then in terms of like satisfying, in terms of like, oh, that felt like a good place to end. and I don't have any more that I want to play from said game, it's probably Final Fantasy 14, which
yeah.
which is surprising because it's still going on. It's still releasing new content. But after I played the last big expansion 6.0, I was like, oh, I'm done with this game now. I feel satisfied. So then I put it down after 5+ years of like being subscribed to it.
Yeah, but that's lovely because like not every game like is like you don't always feel done with every game, even though this like the story might be over. So it's like nice that you got like kind of like a proper closure.
Yeah, I felt like I got proper closure with 14 when I was just like, oh, I think I'm very satisfied with how it ended and how and to let everything go. Like not all the mysteries or like not all the lore was explained, but at the same time I'm like, no, I'm actually good with that.
Yeah, and like, some mystery is nice sometimes.
Yeah. So for me, 6.0 was where or 6.25 was it was like 6.2. Yeah, where I completely stopped cold turkey. I was just like, okay, I'm putting it down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Is but in games in general, and this is like not in any like specific game, but in general, is there any game features you would like to see more of in games? For example, things like weapon crafting, day-night cycles, puzzle solving, mini games within games, color customization on armor weapons, things like that are game features.
All of those.
All of those.
So actually, these days I'm starting to see it as pretty default now. But one of them that I really wanted as a child was the option to choose male or female or like anything as like the main characters for RPGs. Like Legend of Mana did it, and that was like really that was like a really striking moment for me where I was like, oh, I don't have to be a boy to play RPGs.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to force myself to be something I can't relate to in a game. So that's when I was just like, I want every other game to do this. Like if Legend of Mana that was like released, I don't know, 15 or so years ago, I don't even know, was able to do it, I don't think any other game has an excuse really.
Yeah. I think like the games where you can't choose protagonists nowadays are a lot of like the big RPGs that are like very heavily story based, like God of War. It's like telling almost like you're reading, like you're playing a book, like you're playing a fantasy story from a book. But otherwise, like you still see things like the Assassin's Creed series, for example, like recent entries have like always let you choose male or female character.
Yeah, like for ones where like it's like really crucial to the storytelling of like that the main character be very set in stone and like their identity is very set in stone. It's not like a role-playing game, but more of like you're
experiencing someone else's story.
You're experiencing someone else's story. I think that was like that's really they have an excuse.
yeah, for sure.
When like a character is meant to be like, when everyone talks, like they don't have a face, or like they're intentionally designed to be as bland as possible for you to marry Sue into. I'm like, then you should have an option.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then there is really no excuse. I would say like personally, like a really significant for like they have always had like male and female character often, at least like a while going back. But I also like it when there's like the Pokemon series, for example, when they switch to more like generic characters and they actually let you like customize your character and you didn't have to stick to the one outfit. Like that is also like a way that games like you're able to like live more, like put yourself into the game because you're not like stuck with the fashion choices they made for you. You can decide your own fashion.
Yeah, just like the increase in immersion. Like I know that like customization is actually one hell of a thing to put into a game.
Like,
it's incredibly time consuming. It's incredibly demanding. Like there's a lot of things you have to sort through in order to like get it to work properly. But even like just a simple one, it like improves the experience in volumes.
Yeah, and even just like giving you the option to change colors for stuff. Like if they give you like they give you like one outfit, but if you can change the color of everything, you can still like express yourself a lot. So I like it when games give you options for customization. And for me, like the more they give you, often the better. As like some character customization like can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes when you get into like the individual facial sliders. You can like
Oh yeah.
slide like how your cheekbones look and like how your jaw is like sized, like that's when you get like really detailed.
Can I complain about one character creation?
Yeah.
I fucking hated the Elden Ring's character creation.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I like some of the simpler options, but they sometimes
Like, you could tell a programmer fucking designed this character creation. Like, it was so much like okay, this is not visually intuitive at all. Like, who the fuck? Like, they were basically using like technical like 3D bones as like a basis for how to describe what was being changed. I was just like, no.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like they get like needlessly complicated, and then you're like, okay, just give me one of these face presets, and I'll like tweak around the hair and eye colors to make it look.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm so sorry to whoever worked like painstaking hours to like make this character creation, but I'm just gonna use a template. I was just
Yeah. And at least, you know, sometimes when they have those really complicated character creators, they will give you like 20 presets for like something to just choose between, like 20 face presets and stuff like that, and you can like pick from that and often like get a pretty good result. But yeah, that's when you have to like start playing like 3 to 4 hours in the character creator to get it like to get it work.
Well, the thing is, like, I love complex character creators, but that one felt like a whole ass puzzle that I had to figure out. Yeah.
And you don't want puzzles for that.
I'm like, it's already. I'm already gonna be spending 2 hours just character creating if it's like straightforward. This is gonna take like a whole ass day.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're talking about like things that does, you know, drive you slightly insane sometimes, what's your most disliked game mechanics, or do you have any game mechanics you don't like? For example, escort missions, unskippable cutscenes, key items you can't remove from inventory, mission timers, grinding, and stuff like that.
Yeah, escort missions.
So many people hate that. Oh my god.
That's because you have to walk, and no one likes to walk in the games.
Yeah.
Especially like a route with like where you're forced to protect the NPC. I'm like, whoever thought of the first escort mission? Damn. I hope you're not in game design anymore.
I think like almost every single guest I've had on here without fail have like mentioned escort missions in some shape or form for like their most disliked game mechanics. I'm like heavily starting to wonder, why are they even in games if most people hate them?
I'm like, why is it even still a thing when everyone unanimously hates it? Like, I feel like it's like something like a sophisticated designer just puts in for like the sake of like spiting their customers, because you know sometimes gamers do get a little spicy with their needs, and like, you know, I could understand when like game designers want to be a little spiteful, but like, you know, when it's not a good game design, like it's not a game. It's not a game to play an escort mission. That's a chore. Like,
I would say for me, I don't mind it if they add the feature that if you are running, the character also runs, and that like the rubber band to you instead of you having to follow them. Like that like I feel like fixes a lot of like the issues I have with like regular.
Maybe you could kind of control where Ashley goes.
Yeah, like I didn't mind like I felt like a lot of people like I heard a lot of bad stuff about like escorting Ashley and saving Ashley before I played it, but you can kind of like choose where she stands, and it's like pretty nice.
And that kind of adds a level of difficulty where it's like part of like, you know, you having to figure out what's the best like location to go Ashley, how to like walk around like this, like a little bit of a handicap. But like when you're that, I think it's fine. But when it's just like, you know, with the MMORPGs where you just have to walk alongside this
random
NPC,
like that it didn't even have to be there. I like it if it's like a good part of the story, or if there's like a good reason in the story for why you're doing like one escort mission throughout the entire game. Like if it's just like one random thing but it's like significant for the story, then it's fine. But if it's just like random grindy escort missions that didn't have to be there, then it's a big pain for sure.
Yeah. Oh, but I did remember one other thing that I hate more than escort missions.
Ooh. What?
It's when the FTUE, the first time user experience, is forced. So you like they give you the so like in a lot of gacha games where they force you to go through the tutorial and like lock every other component and just force you to not be able to interact with anything until you click that said option. It pisses me off.
Yeah, I think forced tutorials in general are really annoying because like a lot of like games have like multiple games in the franchise, and a lot of the players are returning players, so like please let us skip those.
Yeah, and like especially especially when they force the tutorial before you can get to the settings.
That's
a big one for me. I'm like, I'm so upset. Like that might force me to uninstall that game, like just straight up.
Yeah, honestly, let us give us a skip button. You're right, Chad. Give us a skip button.
Give us a skip button for the tutorial. Like that's so bad.
Very, very necessary. And like it doesn't hurt the game developers if you skip the tutorial. Like it's only your own experience it affects. So.
Yeah, like you could even have it so that like you could have like the daily mission, like the mission part, like basically highlight whatever you need to go back to, and then like it'll just show the player what they need to click on. If you just click on like what the next mission is, like there's ways around it.
Yeah, and you could also always just like put the tutorial like in a menu somewhere where like maybe you could exit it like whenever throughout the game if you like skip the tutorial for something important.
Yeah, because then you could always go back to it, right? I feel like a lot of games have the tendency to like handhold the users too much and not be able to respect the players as like individuals that can think. Which sometimes I'm dumb. I don't think sometimes when I play games, but like,
for sure. You don't want them to handle you through everything, and some games go like way too heavy for this. Like I think something that I saw a lot of people disliking like the last couple of years is, for example, I don't know if you played God of War Ragnarok.
No, I watched a bit of your play God of War, so
yeah. Yes, so what they did with that, like you had the companion characters, like of course like that followed you, and for a lot of the puzzles in that one especially, or like throughout a lot of combat and stuff, like the companion character would like yell out instructions constantly, be like, you should do this, you should do that, and like it was driving a lot of people insane.
Oh my god, I saw it on Leora's stream. For her, it kind of worked out, I think, because but like for me, I would have fucking taped that mouth shut so fast.
Yeah. So many people were raging about like the insane amount of like hand holding and backseating. Like literally, it's like the NPC characters in that game are backseating very heavily.
Oh god, that's awful. I hate backseating with a passion.
Yeah, they probably stay away from that game because like they did not let up.
Oh my god, I would have gotten so triggered.
Yeah, it's honestly like God of War Ragnarok is such a great game, but that's like one feature that I was like, yeah, they could have like cut down like 50% of like the backseat dialogue from the NPC characters like easily.
Is there like no option to like turn that companion off?
I don't think so. I think you just have to like learn to tune it out and then ignore what they're saying.
No, that's awful. No.
Yeah, and some reason the old chat is putting out another example, Horizon Forbidden West, where actually like you don't have a companion character there, but like when the main characters like start randomly talking to themselves, solving the puzzles for you.
No, like I saw Horizon Forbidden West like playthroughs and stuff, and that's the major reason why I never bought it for myself or wanted to play it myself, because I'm like, this feels like, first of all, it's a laundry list of things that you have to do. Yeah. It's not really a game of like, oh, let me go figure stuff out. And then second of all, the amount of hand holding that I saw in like the first 10 minutes, I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a beautiful game. I'm sure the story amazing. Everything's amazing. It's just,
I would say actually the story is the weaker part of that with Horizon Forbidden West. I played through the entire main story. I would say like the combat is amazing, the game is amazing, the environment is amazing, but the story was kind of predictable in a sense. Like, you're not going to spoil anything for chat here, but for me, the story was like definitely what like kind of dragged it down, and it's like very obviously like a midway point for the story. Like, that game like they're setting it up for a sequel, and you can tell because it's like
I hate that.
it's very unsatisfying. If there's never any sequel to that game, I'm honestly going to like drop it 1 or 2 grades in like my own evaluation, because like it definitely feels
like I get so upset when movies do that. I can't imagine when like a game would do that. Like, a game is like a good portion of your time, right?
Yeah.
First of all, it costs a lot, and then it's like a time invested, and time is money. So like, if they require you to play through another game just to feel satisfied, instead of like, oh man, I love this game, I want to play a sequel if there ever is one. Like, the user should want to feel it even after a satisfying ending. But like, if you're gonna make it unsatisfying just for the sake of like selling the next sequel,
yeah, definitely. Like, honestly, it's like I would never recommend Horizon Forbidden West for the story until a sequel is out and can like, if a sequel gives like a satisfying completion to that story, because that's like a setup game for another game, kind of. Yeah.
No.
It's a pain.
Yeah, at least now I know I'll never play that game.
But when it comes to game genres, is there any game genres you wouldn't play, or any like least favorite game genres?
So for me, generally, I would play any sort of genre. I think the one that I won't go out of my way to play on my own accord would probably be FPS, just because I get super motion sick.
Oh, that's so understandable though. If you get motion sick from a game, yeah.
Like games that are like high paced first person shooter, like first person, I can't play it. Like, I saw my genmate Lofi play Doom, and I couldn't look at the screen. I was just listening to her play because I'm like, I'm getting so motion sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every other genre, like I really enjoy playing like RPG. I like fighting games. I like racing games. I like RTS. I like tactics games. So like everything is pretty enjoyable for me.
To be fair, first-person shooters have like a lot of motion all the time. You're like never standing still, and it's like a lot of like sudden like jerky motions. Often like you're aiming and looking. It's definitely understandable for the motion sickness.
I could do like more slower pace, like survival crafting with its first person. But if it's like high action, like jerking motion, like that's actually why I had trouble with trouble playing Portal.
Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't get past the motion sickness no matter how what I tried. I might try again in like little spoon, like tiny spoonfuls, and try to complete it, because I really like puzzle games. So I really wanted to play it, but it just couldn't get past the motion sickness. I felt so nauseous after.
Yeah, I will say I'm someone who in general doesn't get motion sick in games. Like, it takes a lot, but that was like I've only played Portal 1. I've never tried Portal 2. There was like certain like things I did unintentionally, and certain things you had to do for solving puzzles that was actually getting me kind of motion sick. And I think like the main one was like if you put a portal in the floor and then another portal in the floor somewhere else, so you're like dropping down and then you're jumping out of something else, you drop that like movement that made me so motion sick.
Oh my god, yeah. Or like when you have to like propel yourself through like a recursive like portal
those ones.
motion. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, like the sudden change in like trajectory and angles and viewpoints, it's definitely very like disorienting. And yeah.
It's just super unfortunate, because like otherwise Portal seems like a game I would fucking love.
Yeah, the puzzles are great, and like the sassy voices that are talking to you and stuff like that. It's definitely an enjoyable experience. But yeah, some motion sickness. I did not expect motion sickness going into that game. But yeah.
It was intense. I was just like, oh man, I can't. I physically can't.
Yeah, for sure. But then jumping over to more enjoyable stuff. Do you have a video game or series that you really enjoyed for the music, for the like BGM in particular?
the Chrono series, like hands down. That was like I have no question about it. It's the Chrono series. Like both Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, their music was fucking legendary. Like I think if you hear the Chrono Cross opening song, you would know it. You would recognize it even if you never played Chrono Cross.
Yeah,
like,
I probably would.
it was so like prevalent in everywhere that like I once went to a school like I once in my college I once got invited to like a friend's like play, and they don't know anything about video games, right?
Yeah.
Their play, the opening song they chose for it was the Chrono Cross opening song. And I was just like, wait a minute.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
And I asked about them later, and I was like, did you choose that like knowing that it was from a video game? They're like, oh, it's from a video game?
Yeah, like, whoa. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I might have to give it a listen after the stream.
Oh, yeah, I'll link it to you later. It's called Stars of Five.
Yeah, definitely send it to me. I love listening, like, even for, like, this is what I love with video game music. Like, even for radio games you have never played, and even for people that are not video game fans, there's, like, so many good, like, album compilations. You can find them on Spotify, so it's, like, very easily available for everyone, and on YouTube as well, and on those pages. Like, you can just, like, listen to the entire BGM from a game and, like, really enjoy it and have a great experience, even though like you never played it.
Yeah, actually this is just like a little bonus, but like another OST that I really enjoy is actually Final Fantasy IX, because every single time I listen to the whole track, the whole video game plays through my head. Like I could tell exactly what part of the game it was whenever that music plays.
Yeah, re-experiencing it through the music.
Yeah.
For sure. There's like some songs like that for me as well. I feel like, especially like since you hear it so often, like I'm a big fan of Minecraft, for example, and like a lot of the Minecraft tracks are like so iconic to the series. So when I hear like random Minecraft music, it always like makes me think of the game.
Wait, you like Minecraft?
I love Minecraft. I'm a Minecraft addict.
Together.
Yeah, I'm a big, like, honestly, that's like I can play that game for hours and hours and hours.
I was like, if I had to do like a 24-hour stream, eventually one day down the line, I would choose Minecraft as the game to go.
Oh yeah, probably me. Like if I was going to play the same game for 24 hours, that would definitely also be Minecraft for me.
Wait, do you like doing redstone like circuitry?
I like finding other people's builds, and like I've tried experimenting with traps myself, but I'm very much a beginner on redstone. I like building other people's farms. So.
Wait, yeah, me too. Let's talk about redstone together sometime.
Oh, have you seen like they recently very like a couple of days ago, the Minecraft 1.20 update released.
Yeah, I saw it.
And like today I watched like a YouTube video that went through all of the updates, and they added like some like things that might like really be shenanigans for redstone build. They added the bookcase where you can like put in books. And you can calibrate that to redstone apparently. So if you like pull out a certain book from the bookcase, or you interact with a certain book, like there's like 6 slots, and they're like calibrated to like 6 signal types in redstone. So if you do like you can make like hidden doors apparently that like only triggers when you pull out a certain book and stuff like that. It seems like there's a lot of shenanigans, and that's just like one of the things.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
we could make that secret layer that's hidden behind a bookshelf for real.
Yeah, literally, and you have to like pull out like one of the books in particular if you do the redstone build properly. So that's like one like revolutionary thing for redstone, I think. And then you also have the the skulk sensors. The proximity sensors. They added like the skulk proximity sensors. But like they can like sense you from 8 blocks away, I think, and like for movement. But they added you can put like the amethyst, the purple shards on them. You can like craft them together with the skulk sensor now and make something called a calibrated skulk sensor. That has like
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it has twice the range. I think it has like 16 block range, and it's a lot faster. And I think you can also calibrate the signal with like the repeater blocks and stuff to make like really crazy like detection stuff. So yeah, I'm not great at coming up with redstone builds myself, but I love what people are doing.
That'll revolutionize the trap, mob traps.
That was my first thought. I also thought about like making traps in servers for other people. I will admit that was the first thing I thought about for when I saw like the skulk sensor upgrades.
Yeah, like I have a really shitty mob tower going on, so like I want like a better one. So I will look into that. Because like right now the only like change detection like unit that you have is like light sensors, or like just like a normal like manually timed clock that you can make for redstone in order to just like manually push mobs after a certain time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because like the detector block, it only detects a change one block in front, so it's not really reliable for mobs at all. It's only for like crops and stuff.
It's interesting if you can use the calibrated skulk sensor for that, because that one seemed really powerful from what I like. I was seeing like the person who like showed off all the 1.20 changes in the video I watched. It was like showing off some of the changes. I was like, wow, they really added, and they added like. God, I'm just geeking out about Minecraft. You're going to have to listen to this. It says favorite game for music.
Game related.
We're in a tangent now. And what I like about like this particular Minecraft update is they added some quality of life changes that I wasn't expecting. Like they changed some of the sign mechanics, which like I didn't think I wanted sign mechanic updates in Minecraft, but when I saw what they did, I was like, oh, I needed this. Because what they did, like, when you wrote a sign in Minecraft, if you wrote something wrong, you'd have to like redo it.
Oh yeah. Oh, can you edit now?
Now you can edit. You can edit freely. You can even after you dye the sign and you add like the glow effect, you can still edit. And you could also write on both sides of the signs. You can write on the front and the back.
That's so good.
Like different text, and there's even like an item. You know the wax you can get from like the honey, like the honeycomb. You can wax the signs, and then you can't write it anymore. Like so you can like permanently like stop the sign from being edited. And I was like, so I saw like the person was demonstrating, and I was like, oh, yes,
that's so good. Like I did see that like they have like hanging signs now.
Yeah, the hanging signs as well are like. Yeah, they look so cute. The new sign type as well. But I was like, yeah, like this changes everything, Chad. Like, I didn't know that I needed this, but I needed it.
Yeah, signs are the best. Honestly, I use signs mostly for like the function of it, where like it'll prevent like water from spilling on top of it. Yeah, but it'll let like entities through. Like I use signs mostly for that, but like, oh my god.
Yeah,
now I might actually get into customizing signs.
Yeah, and also like the fact that it added like 2 new wood types with this update as well. Like you can have the pink signs.
Oh, the pink
with
signs
with a cherry blossom wood.
You know, like wait, actually, I'll be spoiling a little bit of like content in the future, but like one of my co-highs and I, we're gonna race in our server to see who can find the cherry biome first.
Oh yeah, the cherry biome, yeah.
Because we really want the pink wood.
And then they also added the archaeology stuff, so you can get like honestly, this update has me like so excited because the random stuff that they added are so cool, like the armor trims.
The armor trims are super exciting. I think it'll be great for like I saw people having fun with it already, so I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, you have to find it though. There's only one I think one update, one thing they changed in this update that I'm not a fan of, that I think a lot of people have like mixed opinions on. And that's the fact that like now you need a specific thing to be able to upgrade diamond to netherite.
Yeah. I was a little about that too. I might have to upgrade all my stuff before the patch rolls in.
Oh yeah. I think like a lot of I was actually watching another VTuber stream it, and it was like showing off. Yeah, like chests full of diamond equipment that it was converting to netherite before like the update hit the server it was in. So yeah, some people are already preparing. I think you can clone if you can get one of the items you need for upgrading netherite, and also this is also for the armor trim items. If you get one of those, you can clone them. But you need for to make one clone, I think you need 6 or 5 diamonds. You need a lot of diamonds, maybe 7.
We have a shit ton of diamond.
Yeah. So as long as you you just like when you get one of the armor trim items or like the netherite upgrade item, just like always make sure that you make one copy, so you can always like copy it later.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Like our server, thankfully, is like very rich in diamonds. So
Diamond economy going strong.
yeah.
Oh yeah, 7 diamonds to double it. Okay, chat, 7.
Oh, okay, that's quite a lot. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Mhm.
But at least you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
we'll talk about Minecraft more later.
yeah. God, it's like you can see like how much we like Minecraft chat. Like you just go on tangents forever about that. But then, we were going back on track here. Do you have a favorite game that you like for the art style?
Okay, I like so many video game art, but I think the one that I find like just artistically like the art for it is so beautiful and exceptional is Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like I think that like changed something in me when I saw like the art for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I was just like, holy shit, these artwork can be on museums.
Yeah,
Like,
it has like excellent illustrations.
Yeah, like this is the one where I'm just like, just technical skill wise, I don't think I've seen anyone else peak at.
Yeah, very true.
Beyond video game art, yeah. So this one is where I would say it's my favorite for the art. One, a few honorable mentions. I never played this. I never played this game because I was too young to play it. But it's Vagrant Story.
Oh.
Vagrant Story. It left such a huge impression for me in terms of the cover art that I wanted to become an artist because of Vagrant Story. When I saw the cover art for Vagrant Story.
Oh, yeah.
And I do want to eventually get some time to like play it too, because I heard like the game itself is like beautifully like the 3D. They made so many smart kind of like workarounds for the technical limitations of those days. Like I was watching like a video that was like explaining through them, and I'm like, these people are geniuses.
Yeah, gotta love like game developers that are really innovative in like how they solve like the way they make games.
Did like texture swapping for like the face so that they could have animated faces that like blink and like talk, even though they had just like I don't know less than 5 polys in the face. Yeah. They didn't have individual like eye like polygons or like rigging on the face. Like it was just like one sphere, but they made facial animations within that, and I was just like,
that's some real creativity
to think about. Yeah. So I really want to like go through it with like some of like the game dev knowledge that I have now to really just like appreciate what they did.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And talking about games that you anticipate or are excited for, is there any upcoming game that you're really looking forward to?
So the upcoming game that I'm really looking forward to is Silent Hill F.
Oh yeah, that one. We don't know a lot about this one yet, but like just like the teaser trailer thingy they dropped for it, that one is really intriguing.
Yes, and then you know what gets me really hype about it? It's that the author, like the person who's doing the narrative writing for this, is the person who wrote Higurashi no Kokoro.
Really? Oh yeah, that's really cool.
I'll have to double check on that, but I believe that they are the ones who's creating the whole like story, like main narrative for it, and I'm like, what kind of fucked up psychological shit are they gonna write for this? I was just so excited.
Yeah, and they're putting it like in a little bit of a different setting, right? Than the other Silent Hills. They're putting it like, was it 1960s Japan? They're like putting
it's like traditional like old school Japan settings instead of So I'm really excited. I'm not really great at playing horror games, but for this one, I will tough it out.
You'll make an exception, yeah.
I'll make an exception. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the I don't know, like this image alone, like the flower plant horror aesthetic. If they have like anything looking like this in the game, I'm going to be very intrigued because I really like the look of it, like really unique, really cool looking.
It's like it's like morbidly beautiful.
Yeah, like yeah.
Grotesque. Yeah, because I'm not really good with gore, to be honest. Like it makes me really queasy. So like the representation that they have in Silent Hill is like, I think, very artistic.
Yeah, very like artistic, like pretty, and horror and gruesome at the same time. Like you don't often see that combo in horror games. Like often there's like blood and gore and zombies and stuff like this one seems like a lot more prettier.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I'm like really anticipating it. And like another game that I'm that just got like teased recently is Talos Principle 2.
Oh yeah, I wanna watch the trailer that dropped a day ago.
Yeah. They showed it in like the Sony showcase and the Game Fest. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited because I'm playing through the first one right now, and like the puzzles are super fun. If you like puzzle games, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I actually have not played the first one, but I looked at the gameplay trailer for this one, and it looks really, really fun. Like this might be a game that I might want to check out myself.
Yeah.
Really cool looking, really cool concept. And if you haven't seen it, Chad, a gameplay trailer of this dropped like 1 day ago now. So if you go on like Talos Principle gameplay trailer on YouTube, you can probably find the newest trailer there.
Yeah. Although I will say for like Talos Principle, I was expecting like a full-on like puzzle game, but I'm playing it now on stream and stuff. But the amount of reading that's involved, it's like a lot.
You know, sometimes your reading in games can be amazing. You want to know which game I like reading in the most? Like which game type? Horror games.
Oh yeah, horror game reading is so good.
Because, not just because of the story, but because then you get an excuse to procrastinate, and you get a little bit of a break from the jump scares.
Smart.
Because I'm like, personally very weak to horror, so I need the reading breaks.
Wait, let's play horror games together. We can support each other.
Do you get easily jump scared though? Because if anyone plays a horror game with me, if there's a jump scare, I'm going to be squeaky.
Squeaky.
Yeah, like it's not like full out screaming. It's just more like horror, like surprise squeaks because I get frightened from jump scares.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really played like a full out horror on my channel yet, but I play like Jump Scare Mansion and. Did I play anything else? Oh, I was playing like the SCP.
Oh yeah, the backrooms thing? No.
It was literally like a game that's specifically for the SCP.
Okay.
What was it called? Oh god, the name is escaping me. Right now, but it's like it's like somewhat horror, not quite horror, but like I was pretty calm throughout that. SCP Secret Files.
Yeah, that's pretty. You know, I like horror games. Like, and I don't like horror games, but like the action horror games I actually quite like after playing Resident Evil 4. But the jump scares, god, they're so scary. And especially I think like the most terrifying horror games are the ones that like do a really good job with the music and the atmosphere and the sounds that like can really put you in a terrifying.
Wait, the most my favorite horror game that I never played, but I was because I never owned it, but I watched playthroughs of it. I really love Fatal Frame.
Oh yeah, those ones are pretty terrifying. They do a good job of the setting.
Like the setting is, and like all like when you said like reading in horror games, I thought of Fatal Frame because like the whole story after you read through every single document in that game.
I haven't played them myself. Actually, I think I played them once when I was really young, and that like terrified me from horror games for years and years. But I've seen like some other people play through it like pretty recently, and I do see that like you're getting a lot of the story things from like reading things you find around the games, which is I like that. It's a nice way of storytelling.
And like the more you dig into it, the more fucked up it gets. But like at the same time, it's like you're just so curious about what everything is, and you're just
that's the intriguing part about horror games for me is that a lot of them have interesting stories. Because sometimes they go like completely crazy and you don't know what's going to happen. So you're like anticipating like, okay, what is like behind all this messed up stuff that's happening in the games.
Right? I love it when the games actually like take into consideration like the reason why all these fucked up things are happening and like have like a gradual reveal to what caused it. That's always like one of my favorite aspects of horror games for me.
Yeah. and now I have another question for you here that I'm really interested in hearing the answer for, because what is your ultimate wish for a game if you can like wish for anything? No matter how unrealistic it might be.
So for me, probably like a game like if anyone's ever watched the anime Log Horizon, it's another like those like isekai games where like they get trapped into like the video game that they're playing, like Sword Art Online. But like Log Horizon more so than like I have many complaints about Sword Art Online, but like that's a whole nother discussion. But like Log Horizon, I really felt like, man, it would be so fun to be in that.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you could just like it's kind of like living the slow life but with magic.
Yeah. You do really like in that anime, you do really feel like they are like really getting to like live in the world, and they're like adapting to the world and like building up a society and stuff. Like definitely I agree with you that this would be very cool as a game, like where maybe you're like starting out as the way they started out, you get like isekai into it and then you have to like survive and figure out the society.
And like the whole part where like the like crafted items that are like done through like the menu is kind of like superior to like things that are made like with like real steps. I was like, I want to do that. I want to do all the blacksmithing. I want to do all the cooking myself. So
it was definitely very intriguing. I would love to see that as a game. I love that for your pick for this.
Yeah, like I really like watching like blacksmithing videos, so that I would want to do it, but not in like a real life setting where I have to like
in games.
Yeah, but in game I could like be a blacksmith and like actually got
What if they could give us a good blacksmith simulator though? A blacksmith simulator game? That would be so cool now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh my god, I would play the shit out of that.
Yeah, like we already know like how good some of the simulator games are, like Power War Simulator, I guess cooking simulator is one of the driving and simulators and stuff. Blacksmith simulator, like let us make.
I have VR set for that.
Yeah, let us make like swords and axes and daggers and spears and stuff.
Oh my god! Yeah, I would go out and buy a VR set just for that game if they come out with one.
It would have to be a good one though. It would have to be like they have to like execute it well, and then I would probably play it.
They would have to actually know what the process of like blacksmithing is and like make it well.
Yeah, and then like give you the ability to like make them like cool embellishments and like maybe like make them into like type of like some of the video game weapons you see are like really over the top and cool. I would love to make something like that in.
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be so fun. And then like if you could like grind the iron to like whatever shape you want, and like shape it to whatever shape you want.
Make like crazy stuff. Yeah, that would. Oh god, now I kind of want it really.
Oh shit, and maybe that's our ultimate wish for a game.
Yeah, it's like I feel like we'd have multiple ultimate wish for games.
Yeah, definitely a good blacksmith simulator.
Yeah, and then now we're getting into one of the really deep questions: is what inspired you to start gaming content creation, or what is currently inspiring you to do gaming content creation?
Okay, so for me, it kind of feels weird to say this myself, but I have a very workaholic mindset, and because I came from a very financially struggling family. So basically, I had to start making my own money at 15, and so that I could eat food or like buy my own clothes. So while studying and like going to school, I juggled like commissions and stuff because like part-time job was too much of a time commitment because I went to like after school and like weekend school as well.
All the schools.
Yeah, I went to 3 different schools at one point. Basically, I had to go through 3 different schools, so like I couldn't do part-time specifically, and then like so then I would just do like commissions on the side, wake up at 4 a.m. to work on the commission, go to school, come back, to go to another school, come back, do my homework, and then do more commission based stuff like that. So it left very, very little time to play games, and I had a very large blank of like not playing games, even though I would play like playthroughs on the side, but I realized after I got more time for myself, whenever I played games, I felt very guilty that I'm not doing something.
Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't enjoy a game because I was like, oh, I'm wasting my time. I should be hustling.
Yeah, I should be working. You should be doing stuff.
Yeah, I should be working. I should be putting all my time into like propelling like my career and make money so that I could be well off, so that I don't have to worry about what I had to worry about back in the day anymore. Which thankfully, I think I am at a point where I'm very comfortable, and I mean, I work a 9 to 5 and then do VTubing, but I would prefer to be able to keep that 9 to 5 just so I don't have to think about money making when it comes to my hobby, which is VTubing. But VTubing, I realized or like streaming games was kind of a way to trick my brain into thinking, oh, I am doing something productive. It's content creation, so I could have fun and play all the games that I want to while streaming, so that I don't feel guilty when I'm just doing it on my own time.
I feel that so much. That is definitely like playing games is like feels like such a heavy time commitment, even if you're just playing it a little bit of the time. So definitely, like when you're doing it for content creation, it does feel like you're not playing like the game for your not necessarily just like playing it for your own sake. You're just like doing it for something is like more productive. It feels more productive sometimes, I guess.
Like even though it's in the end, it's still for your enjoyment and stuff. It's still like a little way to like trick the brain into being like, oh you're totally doing productive stuff. Yeah, and then like I do love talking about games too, and like going into like deep dives of like certain games that I get into. So I thought streaming would be a way to like kind of form that community of where we could discuss about games together.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. And talking about your lovely community, we have some viewer questions for today. And all of these are completely new for Kokone. Everyone, Kokone has not seen these questions before because I like keeping them as a surprise. But these are the questions from the viewers. So the first one: would you play a broken/bad game for fun or content? Like a game that's like has a lot of bugs. It's like broken in several ways.
Yes, I would. I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually love like games where it's like broken to a point of like insanity. Like, oh man, like I don't know. This is a really, really old example, but the amount of like Skate 3 videos I've watched because of how broken the physics was, I was just like, this is peak content. I would play the shit out of this game.
It is hilarious when you get like random fun glitches.
Although like I saw this in chat, but I'm not sure if I would play the golem game. Like golem game, that's
yeah, that one I've read things about it.
That one, the price point is way too high for such a jank Also, I'm a Tolkien fan. I can't.
Oh yeah, come watch a game we really bad.
It's too close to my heart.
Yeah, I personally also do not think I would want to play like a bad Tolkien game. Like,
like I've seen a few clips where it's just like funny, but like it's also like what in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see that they're making a dwarf-based Tolkien game though?
Wait,
Moria. There's like I think
the Moria game.
Yeah, the Moria game. Let's hope that one is good.
Also, there's like a oh my god, Lord of the Rings MMO coming out. Like it was
Oh.
announced by I think Amazon is working on it.
Yeah.
I think it got announced again, right?
Yeah, let's hope it's good.
Yeah, so finally there will be a good Lord of the Rings based game because all of them have the kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I actually noticed it. I can't think of like a Lord of the Rings really like good, highly acclaimed game, which is kind of interesting because that's like such a highly acclaimed franchise. You would think like someone would have made like an amazing game for that.
No, there hasn't been. I'm like, none of them have lived up to like the you know what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we have like Witcher 3, which is like such a highly acclaimed game based on like a much smaller fantasy book franchise, but like a giant fantasy book franchise like Lord of the Ring is still like waiting for it. I guess like it's
yeah. I'm like wondering if I'm like wondering if just the us Tolkien fans are just our expectations are just too high.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm like, are we
Possibly.
we're just like, too needy.
Yeah, it seems people in chat are typing Shadow of Mordor. I know a lot of people like the Shadow of Mordor games, but they were like
Oh, okay.
a very specific type of game. I think like they had a very specific type of gameplay. I never actually tried it myself.
Yeah, I never actually played it because I think that was the era where I had a big blank in playing games.
Yeah. It's been a little while ago since they came out,
Yeah.
but I did hear good things about them. But I don't think they were like mainstream popular in the way like a lot of other game series have been mainstream popular.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, for sure. And then, do you have a favorite game DLC? It can be a game story expansion or like just like weapon armor things.
For DLCs, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like, I think the ones that I consistently buy, though, like the ones I consistently think, okay, yeah, that's worth it, are, well, there's two. There's Civilization DLCs.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Civilization the game, and then Don't Starve Together DLCs.
Oh, yeah, Don't Starve Together has so much good stuff and so much good DLC they've been adding.
Yeah, so like I think those two actually add a lot to the game itself. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Where,
Yeah, those
like,
are really good examples, especially like I feel like Don't Starve like is a game that like the base game was already really strong, and then they kept on it. Like even like recently, I think like they added more DLC, so that like they've really been keeping that game alive through like the DLC expansions and stuff.
It's so good. Like, oh man, I love playing Don't Starve together, and then like all the chaos that ensues with everyone else.
Do you usually manage to keep you and your friends alive, or?
So, because I got tired of doing that, I became more of the adventurer and dying on my own.
Ah.
like the latest time I played with Leora and her friends, Don't Starve Together just for fun, and one of our other, like, I chose the Viking girl who can't eat and who can't eat anything but
plants.
Yeah, because I wanted to be like the the fighting character of the team, but like apparently it was like a group of like 4, but apparently another person chose the same exact character, so half the team couldn't eat anything but meat, so our food situation was actually on fire from the get-go.
Yeah, like meat, like I was about to say, like meat is a little bit scarce in the beginning, especially.
Yeah. Especially when half of them are meat eaters. I was just like, oh shit, we fucked up. We should have communicated before we chose.
Yeah, like that's a big Freed. I think her name is. Like she's actually I think my favorite designed character, also because I like warriors and stuff. Like she's my favorite character in the game most likely, but I don't usually pick her because like the meat eating only is like kind of a big debuff, especially early game.
Yeah, like I thought if it was just one, we'll manage to scrape by, right? Because like we could pass for like the spiders and like the frogs and
the bunnies.
And the bunnies, like the bunnies, they got a little bit more scarce, like. So I was like, okay, we could juggle with the bunny and the frogs and like be okay. But like it was double the amount, and I was just like, oh shit. We can't feed 2 mouths in this.
Yeah, that's you went like hard mode right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then here we have an interesting question. someone
Oh,
sent in a question asking if you have a quick on top of your head game recommendation, and they said it could be anything, like even older, hard to get games.
oh, even harder, like older hard to get games. I would, okay, it might be a little difficult with like how everyone wants like more like instant gratification, but like I feel like Final Fantasy 9 deserves more love. I feel like
Oh.
Final Fantasy 9 deserves more love, and it's available on Steam now.
Ooh.
So if anyone likes like good school, old school JRPGs, I would say 9 is probably my favorite out of the Final Fantasy series. After like if we're counting just like the main numerical series.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should say that's an interesting and probably really good a good recommendation, because I don't hear people talk about Final Fantasy 9 almost never. Yeah.
Right? Like 7 and 8 got a lot of like esteem in the West world, like the English-speaking world, but like 9 was kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
And I think even in Japan, it didn't perform as well because they really like went back to the old school Final Fantasy like tropes and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the story was so good. Like all the side quests and stuff were so fun. Like I had a lot of fun going through everything and 100% completing it. It was just so wholesome and good, especially coming from 8.
Yeah. So there you got it, Chad. Play Final Fantasy 9, and you don't have any excuses for it not being available because it is on Steam. So
Yeah, like
But-
gameplay wise, 9 felt so good. 8 felt super like it felt. I have my thoughts about it. And
some
then
people
7
in chat are saying that 8 is considered one of the weakest ones here in the Final Fantasy series. I think they're agreeing with you.
Okay, so the good part about 8 is that it was a really good introduction for a lot of people who weren't into Final Fantasy, because I believe how they dressed up 8 was much more easier to consume for like non-weebs. And like the story was very easy to follow. I don't know. I have my thoughts about the story too. But, and the characters itself. But like, you know what? Like, at least it was there to like get more people into Final Fantasy. You could fly a school. Can't top that. I guess so. That's true. But like, if you want like, it just like Final Fantasy 9 just felt good.
Oh, that's great to hear. And actually, I'm a little bit curious now, since you have such a love for the Final Fantasy franchise. What are your thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, which is coming out in like 12 days?
I'm not too sure about it because I'm not the biggest fan of like hyper realistic like art styles, and the thing I liked about Final Fantasy series was like how much it felt like a game more so than a movie. And at the moment, it feels a little bit more like a movie than a game because I haven't seen anything about the gameplay.
Oh, did you watch the state of play for that one?
Oh shoot! I think I was working when that was played through.
Yeah, if you do want to see, but they showed a lot of like the combat gameplay in particular and stuff during. It was quite a while ago at the state of play, so I recommend watching that one though. But they are leaning in more of like the realistic art style. It seemed like sometimes they're also drawing like inspiration from more like dark fantasy and like for the story, which I'm looking forward to that aspect. And also like for me, I love like action. More like RPG combat, and that's what they're going in the direction. I was like wondering, like from someone who likes the old school Final Fantasies, I guess we could say now, how like Final Fantasy 16 is looking.
Like it feels very different for sure.
Yeah.
Like I know Yoshbi is the one who's working on it, who was the producer for Final Fantasy 14, and I really enjoyed the story for Final Fantasy 14, despite it being a little bit more realistic, etc., etc. But the world was so rich and vast, and I trust him as a producer to know what the game like to be able to create a game from the perspective of the player. So I think it will be incredibly fun, which is why I would probably play it. But from the get-go, it's not too much my cup of tea visually.
Yeah. I know. So some people like some people heavily prefer like the more anime, I guess you could say, style, like illustrated style. And that's definitely fair. And I do think we see like a lot of the bigger games nowadays are leaning more like 3D and more realistic. I don't hope
Yeah.
I hope we don't like lose all of like the anime style games, because those are definitely a very charming, a very nice like aesthetic.
Yeah. And the thing with realism too is that you will always be limited by the technology, like the hardware
for
and
sure,
software. Like it's just what it is, right? But with like a more stylized thing, you could have like things that play off of the technical limitations, etc., etc., and like really create something that doesn't like last throughout the ages. While realism, you're gonna see it age no matter what.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. And it also, like, I think an issue that a lot of people are encountering nowadays are like space, like space to like save the game. And I think like you see often that the realistic game styles are often like bigger in size. You have like 2 examples I've talked about before on stream is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, definitely more of a realistic style, open world style, and 150 gigabytes almost.
Holy shit.
on my PlayStation when I installed it. Yeah, I was like when I heard people saying it was like big, and then I was going to install it myself, and I looked at the file size and my eyes went like,
oh shit.
yeah. I think it's like the longest install time I've ever had on the PlayStation, if I'm being honest. And then you have like equally big, humongous Zelda just released, like working with limitations of the Nintendo Switch. Absolutely gorgeous game. I think it's like 16 gigabytes.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, first of all, like Nintendo games usually very, very, very well
optimized and stuff as well.
Optimized and stuff. But like, okay, with realism, like rendering, you have to have like absolutely high ass definition texture packs, which texture packs take up the most space. Like those take up such a huge like packet like size that it's insane. Like texture packs, wherever you could cheap out on, people try to cheap out on. And so like Legend of Zelda, they always did really well of like not having like I think most of their stuff is procedurally done, so they don't have, they could cut the cost of like texture packs, like huge ass texture pack sizes. And then like everything that goes on top of it, like like specular maps and like height maps, that those type of stuff are also absolutely necessary in realistic rendering. So that's like quadruple the amount of like size already.
Yeah, for sure.
Which thankfully Nintendo games usually don't go for.
Yeah, and I do think like what they also did with Nintendo, like Zelda with Tears of the Kingdom, that makes it seem like more seamless is that they're hiding some of the loading screens pretty cleverly, I think. Like in the loading areas, like you have they switched it between like you have the sky world and the overworld, and then you have the underground. And from what I've seen, I think like when you go down in the underground, you do like a dive animation, and I think that's like technically a hidden load screen or something, based on like a video I saw that was like looking at like beyond like the field of view textures and stuff. So I think like I love it when games do like those type of clever design where they're like hiding load screens in plain sight, so you don't experience it as a load screen necessarily, but the game is like actually loading in.
Yeah, that's actually super clever, because like you're gonna be stuck there with the going through the animation anyways. You might as well use that as like a loading screen in time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's super clever.
Yeah. And then we have, God, you guys are going deep with the questions here today, because, God, how has games affected your life, and does it get deeper than this?
Oh, wow, that is a deep question for sure. I think, yeah, I kind of touched up on this before too, but like, because like my I had a pretty demanding life, I guess, like you could kind of say.
Yeah, for sure.
So games were kind of like games and manga and art were like my 3 pillars that kept me going. And kind of I use as an escape from my responsibilities that I had many of. So then it kept me together. And probably in the darkest days of my life was when I couldn't play games to do that, where I just had to work every single waking moment of my life. So even my art struggled that time too, because like even art was work at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
When
So
when
then.
all your time is work and your hobbies is work, that's kind of, yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah. So I really appreciate games in the fact that they never became that for me.
Yeah,
And they will
that's
always
amazing.
stay. Yeah, they will always stay as a soul, like a kind of like an oasis of where I could just tune out my life and be able to enjoy things.
Yeah, that's absolutely lovely. I love that. And
Yeah.
then for the final viewer question, maybe I should change the order. I'll just like put them in like the stream as the order people sent them in when I decide which to add. So the final one, we're ending on a more like a silly note, and it's like, what is your favorite gacha pull? Because you do a lot of gacha.
After the deep question, we have the question that
Yeah.
everyone loves to ask. What is my favorite gacha pull? Okay, but this is asking of like which wife. Oh my god, my neighbors are mowing their lawns. I'm sorry if that's
We're just
getting caught.
ignoring that.
Sorry. Is it like my favorite waifu, or is it like the favorite gacha like games where I like to pull on? Like
You can do
I
both
would
if you
say-
want to.
Okay. I would say if in terms of like most highlight like pull that I ever done on stream, probably where my stream would have only lasted 4 minutes if I stopped right there and then, because I got the unit that I wanted in like the first 2 pulls.
Ooh.
It was like the first temple and it was the second unit, so I just needed 2 single pulls to get her. But in terms of like my favorite waifu that I got. Ooh. I would say, no waifu even in Nikke has topped Akagi from Azure Lane.
Oh, I want to see what she looks like. I don't. Azure Lane.
Yeah,
Akagi?
Azure Lane. She's like this yandere fox girl, and like she has been my go-to waifu.
Oh, she's very pretty.
She's so like, and she's like fucking horny on main, but she's like legit like the definition of horny on main, but she also has that yandere streak in her, and I'm just like I love her.
Yeah, she looks very cool. Looks like she has a lot of cool outfits as well. I like her outfit and her style.
Yeah. So I like her in terms of like my favorite gacha like waifu. In terms of like what was the most satisfying to do gacha pulls in? Probably either Azure Lane or Princess Connect, which rest in peace got disconnected. But Princess Connect felt good to do gacha pulls in because like first of all they were very generous and it didn't feel too bad to get like duplicates because then I could increase the rank etc of like the units I did get for her, and all of the units to an extent were usable.
Oh yeah, you gotta love that. Like power creep in gacha is kind of scary.
Yeah, so like being able to like compose a team with like not all like 5-star units, I feel like that is really incredible in a gacha game, and that's something that I like in Arc Knights too, where a lot of like 3-4-star units are still really viable.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Heroes power creep is so crazy. We wouldn't talk about that. Oh my god, my Fire Emblem Heroes. That's the one gacha game I play, and or my main gacha game, I guess, that I've played since the beginning. And yeah, that's why I know power creep is scary.
Is it like every new unit you kind of have to get it for like the new meta?
I don't play it like super seriously. I just mostly play it for fun. But there's definitely like some units that you do wanna like get or have because they're so strong, and then there's like it's just like slowly over time, like the newer units are getting stronger and stronger, and like they will update some older units, but there is a lot of older units that you really don't use anymore.
Oh, it just becomes obsolete. That's
awful.
awful.
So if you want to make like a really like I guess min-maxed team, there's like definitely you don't play with your favorites necessarily. You play with what's best.
That makes sense. Like in game, like in gacha games, I do get pretty competitive. Like Princess Connect, I was like consistently top like 150 global player
Ooh.
in PvP. But like there's always that like meta that you kind of have to play with.
Yeah.
And you have to have like certain units for that. So thankfully I really didn't put any money into Princess Connect. Like I think I spent like $60 tops throughout the 3 years I played or so, 2-3 years. Yeah. So it was really not bad, and you could still be like top 100 without investing like hundreds and hundreds into it.
I think in Heroes you probably I've never tried going for the top rankings, but you can play like decently casually and still like play PvP against other people and have fun with like if you're putting in like logging on every day and getting like free stuff and playing a little bit here, a little bit there. It's not the worst gacha I think, but it's not super generous either.
I see.
Yeah, but then now we reached the final question, and this is what do you like the most about gaming? And you probably like partially answered it already. If you wanna summarize.
Yeah, I think it's a place where like it's an escape where like a lot of your real life like limitations don't come into play, and where you could just you could become whatever you want. You could become like a crafter, you could become a really strong hero, you could forget a lot of like your physical or mental limitations in real life and just like escape into that, while also containing like genres where you can put like those limitations to the test, like your mental capacities, your capacities and stuff. So like I feel like the fact that there's a very wide breadth of the gaming, where gaming isn't just this one thing, right?
There's something for everyone, truly.
There's something for everyone, and the end result is for you to have fun.
Yeah,
and I think that's really lovely.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like that's also like what I love about gaming. It's truly something for everyone, and then you get like all the different art styles, all the different types of music that you also get in there. Like it's like a very like you get like a lot of things together. Like it's not just like reading books is amazing, reading manga is amazing, but you also get like the visual, like the audio aspect and things in the games as well. So like it's a very whole experience.
Yeah, and it's like for a long while it was not really like the only form of interactive entertainment, but it is like the prime interactive.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of like how because you could always do like choose your own adventure, like you could play board games and stuff like that, but you could really get that immersion.
And really experiences someone else's story or make your own story.
And it's like it's always nice to see like a lovely combination of like all these people of different fields working together to create this one lovely product.
God, everyone working on the game development side, that's so much amazing people and so many different professions that go into game development.
Like I know a lot of people who used to work outside of the gaming field, but then got brought into the gaming field because it just like started expanding just so much in terms of what it encompasses, and I think that's really neat.
It's really cool. But everyone, it's this time of the talk show again when we're starting to round off. So it's also time for me to announce who the guest for next week is going to be. I don't have the thumbnail for next week ready because the person who's coming on the talk show next week is currently on like a vacation this week, so you will get a thumbnail later. But it's going to be the amazing Viking VTuber Alfhilde, or Alfie. Some of you might not know her because she is from the Twitch side of VTubing, but I'm very excited to have her on, and she's also a fellow Scandinavian VTuber because she's a Swedish Viking, so that'll be very exciting.
Nice. I will tune in for that too.
Yeah.
I love all your weekend gaming episodes. It's so fun to hear people talk about games.
Yeah. That's why I love doing this, because everyone has so much different experiences when it comes to gaming, and I love hearing about like how everyone started out, what everyone loves about gaming. It's so much fun. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone, this was everything for today. I hope you had a great time with me and Kokone today. Make sure that you check out Kokone on her channel. You can find the link in the description. She's very entertaining and she streams a lot of good variety of games, and also does stuff like gunpla building and drawing. If you haven't seen Kokone's art streams, you gotta check her out. She's also an amazing artist.
Soon you'll be doing Gunpla streams too, I hope.
Oh god, dude, that's a heavy possibility actually.
I will do like a beginner's guide introduction to her first master grade, because she doesn't want to go do the easy stuff.
I wanna do like the complicated stuff. I'm going to start building it.
maybe even her first perfect grade already from the get go. That's
Oh god,
$300.
perfect grade? I don't know, but a master grade for sure.
Okay. We'll start off with master grade. It's fine. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun talking to you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So definitely make sure you check Kokone out. And as for me, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. So I hope you have a nice day or a nice evening or a nice night, depending on where you are. And bye bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.